Alright, so hi everyone, my name is Eder and welcome to another Project Wesker video, and in today's video we're actually going to be talking about the new details that just came out for the Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City movie. So IGN actually had an exclusive interview with Johannes Roberts, where Roberts elaborated on the differences between his Resident Evil movie and the prior film starring Milla Jovovich, and how his filmmaking approach here draws not only from the Capcom games, but also old school genre filmmaking. And on top of that, there was 3 images that were released. Also, right before we get started, if this is your first time here, I consistently post about everything that has to do about Resident Evil, and I highly recommend you guys shoot that subscribe button in the face if this is your first time here, and remember to punch that notification bell so that you guys don't miss out on any new information that we'll be releasing. I'll also be adding any newer video with newer information in the description and as well as in the comments, and so yeah, feel free to check back on this video to get the latest information on this movie. Now before we get to the interview, I'm actually just going to talk about the 3 images. So the first image is actually Leon and Claire Redfield, so Ivan Jogia with Kaya Scodelario, and we see them on lower levels of the RPD, it seems, or the basement. That's my guess for sure. And yeah, we see them with sporting their outfits, which I think is really cool. Yeah, their hair is a little down. The next image is of the mansion, where we have Albert Wesker to the right, which is played by Tom Hopper, and then to his right is Richard Aiken, who's being played by Chad Rook. Or Chad Rook. And Richard Aiken, for those of you that haven't played Resident Evil 1 in quite some time, is actually the guy that gets bitten by the snake in Resident Evil 1, the snake that's called Yawn. Now, to Richard's right, you see Jill Valentine, who's being played by Hannah John Common, and to her right is Chris Redfield, and Robbie Amell is playing him. And so yeah, these 4 characters, that looks really nice, to be honest. And then the last image that got released is actually that of Lisa Trevor, and she's being played by Marina Mazeppa, who was actually in America's Got Talent. So Marina Mazeppa is actually a contortionist, so I think it's going to be really cool to see her walking around as Lisa Trevor. I think it's going to look really creepy. I think yeah, she'll definitely fit the bill. Now moving on to the interview. It starts off by saying this movie really had nothing to do with the previous franchise. This was all about returning to the games and creating a movie that was much more a horror movie than the sort of sci-fi action of the previous films. I was hugely influenced in particular by the remake of the second game, and I really wanted to capture the atmosphere-drenched tone that it had. It was so cinematic, and the previous movies were very bright and shiny, whereas this movie was dark and grimy, entirely shot at night. It's constantly raining, and the town is shrouded in mist. I was hugely influenced by the movies like The Exorcist and Exorcist 3, Don't Look Now, and The Shining. You can really feel the texture in this movie, and nothing in this town feels high-tech. It feels dilapidated. I wanted Raccoon City to feel a bit like the town in Deer Hunter, a ghost town, forgotten by the rest of the world. And the whole structure of the film was definitely very influenced by Assault on Precinct 13. The difference with this film as opposed to the previous movies is that it is an ensemble where each of the main characters carries huge importance to the narrative. They are not just cosplay characters who have the exact hair and costume of the characters, Robert said. It was hugely important with the whole casting process to find people who embodied the spirit and energy of the characters I wanted to portray. I think often in game adaptations, one of the big flaws can be just casting someone to look visually like the characters, giving them the identical haircut and clothes, but not really trying to give the audience the thing that a movie does better than a game, which is to create a 3-dimensional character that you can really connect with and believe in. Roberts recalled the particularly difficult search for the right actor to play Leon S. Kennedy. We must have seen so many people, and it was quite a tricky role because of the balance of humor and wariness. Then Yvonne read, and I was like, he's the one, he gets it. I wanted to go back to the horror of it all. I wanted scares and atmosphere rather than a full-on action. Roberts told IGN when comparing what differentiates Welcome to Raccoon City from the earlier Resident Evil films. I think fans of the game felt the same. They wanted to see the iconic characters and locations and feel that the movie was more in line with the Resident Evil game world. So that's really why we chose to move in that direction. We worked hand in hand with Capcom on this movie, to the point that we actually got blueprints from them on the designs of the Spencer Mansion and Raccoon Police Station in order to recreate them as perfectly as we could. We even have the exact artwork up on the mansion walls. Capcom saw for the first time the other day and was so happy and excited. Lisa Trevor is actually quite a pivotal role in the movie. I was always fascinated by her when playing the remake of the first game, and I found her character both disturbing and at the same time strangely haunting. Roberts told IGN, when we were discussing how to bring this story to life, it was one of the elements that I really wanted to feature strongly strongly, as she has never been in any of the film versions of Resident Evil, and I wanted her to be a three-dimensional character, not just some creepy specter. We cast Marina Mazeppa, who had just done Malignant for James Wan, and really worked hard in bringing this character to life in a way I think the fans are going to love so much. She's terrifying but also tragic. In the movie, we really connect her to Claire Redfield's story, starting with the orphanage where Claire grew up. Fans of the game should know that Capcom was involved in the film's development and design. We worked very closely with Capcom. Every character and creature is from the game, and as such, I wanted to be as faithful as possible. I wanted to create a truly immersive feeling for the fans, Roberts explained. But that also became the trickiest part of adapting a piece of IP like this, because I didn't just want to put the game on screen. It had to be its own thing, with living and breathing characters and creatures, and of course, zombies, that felt true to the world. So Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City opens up only in theaters on November 24th, 2021 in the US, December 3rd in the UK, and November 25th in Australia. So that was the end of the interview, and I gotta say, I'm actually even more excited about this movie. It looks like it's gonna be good. You know, especially seeing images of the actors in their getup. I think it's gonna be really cool. I'm definitely trying to hold the hype train, but you know what? It's getting harder and harder. Now, there's gonna be changes, and that's expected, especially when it's a movie, when you're turning a game into a movie. But you know what? Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been excited about this movie, since I did my previous video. Well, in any case, that's all the new information that we got today. I highly recommend you guys remember to shoot that subscribe button if this is your first time here, and remember to punch that notification bell so that you guys never miss a video. And just like I mentioned before, I'll also add any newer video that I make with newer information in the description. And so yeah, feel free to check back if you're not subscribed. And also, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to knife that like button. And just like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I consistently post about everything that has to do about Resident Evil, including videos such as news, theories, walkthroughs, lore videos. And so if any of those topics interest you, then consider joining the Project Wesker family. Just so you guys know, this channel is supported by Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee. So make sure to check the links down below in the description, especially Patreon, to see all the perks you could get. And remember, don't worry if you're unable to sponsor the channel. Your support on YouTube and Instagram is just as important. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, enjoying, and sharing my content. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
The right to be a god. That right is now mine.